Hello and welcome to the Trading College podcast, where we look to bring you some of the most thought-provoking ideas about trading and what you could do to improve your trading. Hi everyone, Rajan Oshan here with the latest edition of the podcast. On today's podcast, we are going to be discussing really like how to fit trading around your lifestyle and all different kind of lifestyles and people that we have within the Trading College community, just to really see how this works. Because, we're in 2023 now. We've got a lot of people who are joining and, they might not really know how to, whether they want to be swing traders, day traders, just trade the morning session, just trade the afternoon session. So we really just want to cover that in great detail today. So Oshan, how you doing, mate? How have you been?
Yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. It's good to see that, all of our hard work over Christmas and, the content we released, we've had some good feedbacks. That's quite nice.
I know, yeah, it's been lovely to read the comments, and you've had some people talk to you in your sessions about it. I've had some people say things in our live trading room that they've really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, it's been really lovely.
Good. Yeah. So like, not to put you on the spot, but a lot of people have said that they want you to do a morning guided meditation before trading. I don't know, maybe we can get that to come in 2023. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, we could definitely sort something out, sure.
God, I don't know. You make me fall asleep, I think, before I start training. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. So, in terms of obviously what we want to cover today, what are your initial thoughts? Because we've got loads of different types of traders at Trading College, haven't we? They all do different things. I mean, what do you think about like, because I see this thing on like Instagram and like YouTube and things like that about people who kind of call themselves like lifestyle traders. But what do you think your opening kind of thoughts about it are?
Well, I think it's probably one of the first things that like really attracted me to wanting to learn how to trade, because it seemed like you could use different styles of trading just to really suit whatever routine you've got at the moment. And then eventually you're hoping that trading will take over from that, and then you can have sort of complete freedom of when you trade. But it seemed really appealing to me that whilst I was studying or whilst I was working, I could fit all the trading in between all of that and like sort of trade whenever I want. And I think that's what a lot of our students do, is trade just at the times that suit them.
Yeah, see, that's really interesting because you've come at it a different angle at the beginning. So you wanted to kind of learn to trade around the stuff that you were doing and make a bit of money at the beginning, and then when you realized it made money, then start doing it more and more full time.
Yeah, that's how it started for me. It wasn't, yeah, because when I started trading, I was still able to like perform and do music. And then
Yeah.
obviously then whilst I was learning to trade and all this sort of stuff, then I had an injury. And so I can't do that anymore. And so it was only really at that point that I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe I should try and do it more full time. Before that, I'd always thought I wanted just to fit it around music and to like make some money on the side.
Great. So, wow. Initially, you always planned to continue to do this alongside the music, but then obviously something happened and you had a contingency plan.
Yeah, basically, because I'd always just thought, because obviously like you can get sort of permanent jobs in music, but
Yeah.
they're so difficult to come by that most people are just making their money by doing like some freelancing stuff
Yeah.
like that. So my original thought was that during all like the quiet periods you get in between gigs, it would be like the perfect thing to do. If I've got a couple of weeks with sort of nothing lined up, I'd be able to just trade and know that I can make money to live off from something else.
Wow, wow. That, I didn't, I didn't know that because I always thought your plan was to eventually, start trading at the beginning, how you did, but always your plan was always to go full time. So, that's interesting because I think maybe a lot of people who are listening to this podcast or a lot of the people in the community had the plan set out beforehand rather than actually need a contingency because something, an unfortunate event kind of kicked in or something like that. So that's pretty interesting because we've had like obviously like every different type of person on the planet it seems at Trading College. So
Mm.
I've had some people who have got kind of full-time jobs and stuff and have had an illness. So like they then had to reduce the amount of time that they were able to work at their normal vocational job and then have to pick up some extra funds during trading. So that's happened with me. But then, one thing I would ask you is, how did the pressure change of that field? Because obviously you were earning money, performing and stuff, and then obviously, you had your injury and stuff. Did you feel a bit more pressure from the trading when that kind of kicked in?
Yeah, yeah, and I think probably I think everybody that I've spoken to has sort of felt like you get when you're going from doing something like learning or you're just making some money on the side to that being your main sort of source of income, there's definitely like a shift that happens, but it's only temporary, and then you learn just like to trust yourself because you know that you can trade because you've proven it with how you've been trading before.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that's a good point because for me, like it was very different because when I was working in the gym, my hours like basically allowed me to trade.
Right.
So my first lot of sessions in the morning would start at 6:30 a.m. and I'd generally finish at about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd have that time between 10 a.m. and about lunchtime when the people used to come back in the gym again to train and do a bit of research. And then from lunchtime, so let's say from about 12 till about 2, I was busy. And then I had spare time from 2 till about 6 till they got back into the gym after work again.
Ah,
So
okay.
my times were the in-between times of where the market's not very volatile, but I could basically go in and data was being released at 9:30 London time and stuff like that, and I could watch the reaction around the data releases and all of that kind of stuff. And you got to remember, this is I was like 20, what's that, 21 years old, 19, 20 years old back then. So it was a long time ago, and the markets used to react very differently to those types of things than they do now.
Right. Yeah.
So I was making good money in the gym. Like I was training, coaching people, and what I then did was is like a little bit of that money, like 4 grand of it, I put into a trading account, and I was trying to make a bit of extra money between those sessions that I was doing.
Okay. Yeah.
So then, yeah, it was a very different case to yours because you were obviously performing, you were earning a bit of money around that trading, and then you had to go full time. Whereas then, like I then realized, I could actually do this. But one thing I've always said this, one thing that's made me more successful within my trading, even in those early days, was when I used to take the positions and just leave them and walk off.
Right. Okay.
So when I used to place those positions and then I had sessions to do, I then stopped thinking about those trading positions. And as soon as I used to finish the sessions, I used to go back to my laptop and see what had happened to them, whether they'd won and lost.
Yeah.
So
So you think you were sort of attracted by like the swing trading side of it right from the beginning.
yeah, it was kind of the distraction really that helped. And then like, so when I did try and trade like day trade and be at the screen for a lot of the time, just with my personality, it just didn't, I've realized it just didn't match it very well. So
Right. Yeah.
but that took years, by the way. Like, it really did. I mean, I always wanted to be a day trader because in my mind, I think like a lot of people that start looking at trading, they think of all these screens and all of these announcements and all of this kind of high adrenaline, fast paced kind of trading environments when it's not actually the case.
No, no. I think
So, did you
I
think
like
that?
yeah, I think like if you, and a few of the other coaches I know said as well, like if you're trading really well, sometimes it can like be a bit boring because you're just
Yeah.
following your setup, you're just waiting for things to happen, and then you've got sort of like this time to kill in between. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's not that sort of high paced world when you're just trading like for yourself for your own money that like you think of from like films and stuff.
That's the thing. I think we've been corrupted by all of those movies, haven't we, back in the day? It's interesting. Like I remember, like just the original Wall Street movie, and then obviously like the Wolf of Wall Street was more they were brokers, weren't they, and stuff. But yeah, the original Wall Street movie with is it Michael Douglas, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, Gordon Gecko and and all of that like back then. That yeah, they I think made it feel like it was a bit more adrenaline pumped and all of that kind of stuff. But I have to say, like Trading Places, the one with Eddie Murphy in it, um, that they were on the pit. They were trading on the exchanges. So that I think life was a bit different back then for those movies. So I think back in the day, if you were trading on the exchange, like yeah, there was a lot of shouting and screaming, and it was very
yeah.
fast paced. But yeah, when it came to being more computerized, it did really slow it down a lot, in a good way, I think. So I had that in mind. So I was trading currencies at the beginning. So I used to see, well, the currencies move all the time. Like they move all day, every day, like 10, 20 pips every half an hour. Like why can't I not take advantage of that? So that's what I used to think.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That there always is going to be trading opportunities like every second, every minute, all the time, which is kind of true, but they might not be the right ones for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Because I think like quite a few of the students I know, like at mentorship days and things, people are always asking like, what's the best time to trade,
Yes.
and things. But I think obviously that you're going to have like key points in the day, aren't you, where things are going to be more volatile for day trading. But there's things setting up all the time. It's just like spotting them, and like whenever you can be at the screens, then if there's something setting up, then you just take it.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of think when people say that, because the other thing that students say to me that I completely disagree with, to be honest, is that like when they say, well, if you know that move's going to reverse, can't you trade it on the way up and on the way down?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
and I sit there and think, well, no, because like me, I'm very trend following. So
Mm.
on the way up, like if we're in an uptrend, for example, I kind of know that the potential is more limitless on the upside. If we are in a very good uptrend, I'm comfortable leaving it. But if I'm trading it on the way down, I don't know, I'm not as confident with the amount of potential that it's going to have to make money on the way down if we're in an uptrend and then get it back in on the way back up again. Like that feels very labor intensive to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's sort of the way that I think about it as well. Because obviously at trading college, we're all about trading with like the momentum of the move.
Hmm.
So if we've got a signal that we want to go long, go taking that signal long, you've got the probabilities on your side that you're going to get X amount of reward from it. Whereas we don't really look at what happens. That like there's no guarantee or there's no probability of how far the move is going to come back the other way if you're trading sort of the against the move as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the more successful traders that I have in general, whether they are day traders or whether they're swing traders, I think they understand the momentum of the moves quite well, and they know when they should be jumping in and out of moves when the momentum kicks in.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
So that's a really important point. So in terms of lifestyle then, in terms of everybody that you've seen at Trading College and yourself and the other coaches and stuff, what kind of attracts you, or what do you kind of, where do you see yourself wanting to go? Because obviously we're in 2023 now. We've got goals, like,
Mm.
because you day trade and you swing trade. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I like to do a bit of both, but
Yeah.
I always think of myself as almost like a lazy day trader.
Mm.
I'm not somebody who's inclined like to sit and watch the charts all day. I'm just waiting for a setup and just taking it and then leaving it to do its thing. I'm not I'm not I think it's like it just comes down to like how interested you are in watching all these stuff like play out, but I would just much rather be doing something else than sitting there and watching it. So that's sort of how I get it to fit my lifestyle, in that like as soon as I'm placing a trade, I'm just off doing something else with my day and
Good.
just leaving that to work itself out. Whereas I know, but we've got like some of the coaches like Lee and Dan, they just love trading and they
Mm.
love watching the charts and waiting for things and seeing all the patterns play out. Right, and it's brilliant, and they're obviously really successful at it. But it's not the sort of style that like is like that I'm attracted to personally.
Yeah, and when I did the podcast with Dan, like what was really nice about something that he said to me, and if anybody hasn't heard it, definitely go back and listen to that one. Is because he said to me that it was really nice that he could kind of make his money in the morning, like up until maybe about 11 a.m. And then when he goes to pick his kids up from school, like he can go to the park and basically like spend time knowing that he's done that already for his day.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
that was really nice to hear because with me, you know, all of my positions are always running in the background all day, every day. There's not a day where I, apart from maybe Christmas in the summer, where I
Mm.
don't have a position running. So I always know in the back of my mind somewhere that I've got a trade running. Whereas Dan, he's obviously, if he's made his day's money, he can let go of that for that day, and he can just really kind of, not think about it until the next morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's a really, really nice feeling. But on the other end of the scale, I know I've cut in a little bit here, Oshin. If you are working and you have a full-time job, and you've got kids and stuff like that, kind of like me, there's nothing. To be honest, there's nothing better than knowing that you can have a trade running for like 2, 3 months that's in profit.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great feeling because I come back and I look at my session, my trades at like 8, 9 o'clock every evening, and sometimes I'm only there for 15 minutes. Like I like, not when I'm scanning for new trades. When I'm scanning for new trades, that takes a while. That could take me a couple of hours. But when it comes to adjusting my trades or checking the P&L or seeing if I need to move stops and profits, like that doesn't take me long at all. So every evening when I know nobody's going to bother me, like my daughter's in bed, I've had dinner or made dinner and all that kind of stuff. I'm not dealing with any students or dealing with anything trading college related. I'll have a cup of tea, put my PC on, and I'll say, okay, well, where's Glencore today? Or, where's Tesla going? Or what's going on with Apple? And I'll see, well, if I'm that much in profit, can I move my stop? Can I move my target? And I will literally just, I don't have to think about that until it gets closer to the target again. And
Yeah. Yeah.
for me, the best thing in the world is the alarms on the system.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Really useful.
Yeah, because I don't even have to do anything. Like I will put an alarm on at the level where I'm interested or I need to change something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I can go off and carry on. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but if you can control yourself psychologically, it is like that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You-
I think it took me a while to trust like that it wasn't too good to be true because
Mm,
it just sounds so brilliant. And
yeah.
yeah, but like you said, as long as you've got like the psychological control to do it all, then it's completely possible. I
Yeah,
was
and like a few shout outs in the podcast today because like Loretta, she'd been really good, and she held a natural gas trade for 7 months once.
Well,
And she did. I'm not going to put numbers on this, but it was amazing. Like the amount of money she made for holding a trade for 7 months was like, was so good, and I was really really happy with what she did there. And then Joseph at the moment, he's been holding a trade in AbbVie, the American stock, for about 8 weeks already this time round. So he's doing really good, and I do understand it goes against all human nature, and it feels really strange to do that, but that is what people want. you know
yeah,
they when they come to talk to me about swing trading, that is what they want. And then on the day trading side, obviously I've had some very very successful day traders. I love to hear that. Some people message me, and like at the moment Graham's doing really well, and he messages me every so often and will say, look, I've done like 11% or something, and I'm like,
mhm,
that there's that trade-off, whereas day traders can make money really quickly and go and relax.
yeah,
Whereas swing traders can make money without doing much work, but the trades are always on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
there's a
think
balance to, and you do both. So how do you find the balance between the two?
yeah. Well, I think swing trading, I treat it basically exactly like you do. I'm placing the trades, and then the only time that I'm looking over them is when I sort of log into my account to open the charts.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I'm keeping a track of them, and maybe spend a couple of minutes just making sure, yeah, see if anything needs adjusting, or if it like there's time has come to add a new position or to exit, anything like that. Um, so that that's just they're just running in the background, and I just manage them just like a couple of minutes each day. And then obviously then the day trading is slightly more intensive because you're wanting to trade at specific times of the day where like when the markets are opening. So I don't know, maybe between 7 and 10:30 in the morning, something like that. And then
Okay.
obviously for the American session in the afternoon, you can come back for that. I tend to only really do any trading in the afternoon if um, I haven't hit my targets in the morning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll try and like you said, like Dan does, just try and take the afternoons off and go and do something nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's good because on the flip side, you reminded me of someone. So I've got a trader. She says to me that she's really lazy. So she's retired now, by the way. She worked for her whole life and did really well and stuff. And like now she's kind of trading to top up her retirement fund. And what she does is she says to me, she's like, Raj, she's like, I don't want to wake up till 11. So she was like, I'm not going to trade the morning session, but I want to be a day trader. So what we did with her is from 11 onwards, we kind of got her ready for the afternoon session. So for the US
Ah,
Open. So gauge the sentiment of the day. What are the equity markets doing? What's gold doing? And all this kind of stuff. And then when, when the US Open comes in, she just looks for one trade a day on the US Open.
okay.
So like, it's quite funny. We're talking about lifestyles here in this particular podcast. Like the fact that, she told me straight off the bat, she was like, I'm not waking up in the morning to trade the DAX.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. Like let's problem solve. Let's think of what we can do for you to who she wants to day trade. So I was like, well, what can we do for you? And I was like, well, the US session is going to be the one for you then because it opens in the afternoon.
I think it's so interesting, isn't it? Because we've spoken about so many different people,
Yeah.
and every single person has adjusted it in a different way to get it to suit their lifestyle however they want. And
And they're all such
it's
different
just so
personalities.
interesting. Sorry?
I said, and they're all such different personalities as well, aren't they?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's just yeah, amazing that you can do that, and also that it's brilliant as well. Like you as a coach, you're not trying to sort of get people to do exactly what you're doing. You're
No.
helping them to be able to trade the way that they want to, that they need to for their lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like there are some people that I have had who are able to trade like me, but I know it's not for everyone. I know, like some people, when it comes to money, do get anxious if their money's in the market for that period of time, and I really understand that. Like, it's not easy. Like, if you've got maximum risk of a grand, a grand and a half, or whatever, and you're consistently holding those trades for a few months or something like that, and I know that maybe that hangs over them like a cloud sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know that's not for everyone, and they might not be able to handle that. But we have other things that that people can handle. What for you then? In terms of like the kind of lifestyle pros and cons. If we can talk about it that way, like how has it helped you then? What the way that you trade?
Um, I think well, well, I think it's helped in lots of like different ways, but obviously the main one is the freedom that comes with it. I
Hmm.
trade in the morning and then just go and do whatever I want in the afternoon, and that's amazing. You can't get that from any other job.
No.
Um, yeah, I guess maybe a downside of the lifestyle could be that because the fact that you're just sort of sat by yourself doing it. Obviously, we have the live trading rooms in the morning, so that's brilliant.
Yeah.
You can tune into that, but yeah, I guess that's probably the only disadvantage. You might not get the same sort of like social contact you get in an office or something like that. That's the only maybe disadvantages that I can think of. Well, what about you?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, obviously, regular listeners will know that I've tried to trade full time on my own twice. Yeah, so I left where I was working, saved up enough money, and made some money and whatever, and I just stayed at home by myself to trade on my own. Oh, mate, that was dire. It was so horrible because being a swing trader as well, I used to trade like either the 4 hour or the daily chart. That was where I used to execute my trades.
Right.
So once I placed and I was fully in risk in the market, I genuinely had nothing to do, nothing. So I used to like, do the chores, go to the gym, like, read books, like watch videos, like, educational videos and stuff about trading and all this kind of stuff. And I just got to the stage where I just felt like I'd done everything that I could do. That and I was getting so bored. I was really, really getting so bored, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So that was at the time that I didn't have a trading community. So that was a bit, a bit of a strange time for me. So that was definitely a con of swing trading when you're on your own. Uh,
Yeah.
Having said that, I reckon I could have probably managed that a little bit better. Like maybe, joining a few different clubs, finding an investing club or a stock trading club or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But obviously now I don't have to do that because we have it here, so I really wish I found trading college a lot earlier back then. I mean, I knew Lee, but it was just one of those things. I thought I was making money, so like, why do I need it? That's what I used to think.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I actually needed it emotionally rather than like, educationally, which was strange. And then once I went back into work, so what I ended up doing actually, obviously being a professional working in the environment, is I was still trading on my own, but I started writing research reports about the markets.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So then I basically, got my trading income, and then I got a bit of like a side income writing reports about stocks and about gold and, commodities markets mainly. I love commodities markets. So that's what I was really writing about. But
Yeah.
then obviously, like my vocation in life is coaching. Like I will always coach. I'm a teacher, I think, like, in my mind. So when it came to doing the sessions now, like talking to different people and how getting their point of view while my trades are always running in the background and like helping people, and is kind of what is probably actually my primary kind of vocation is probably coaching, and trading is probably second, to be honest.
Right.
So yeah, I like that balance of that. Now on the pro side, the whole reason why I trade is just generally my lifestyle. Like, me, Osher, like I'm the most zen person in the world. So I can't do things that are high adrenaline and, kind of action packed all day, every day. Like I need balance. I need emotional
Yeah.
balance. I need physical balance. I need work balance, like all kinds of things. Like, yeah, I'll go crazy and party all the time, but then like, I do a lot of mindfulness and stuff like that at the same time. So, this allows me to do that and to keep my life on an even keel.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so like having, not like having long-term trading positions, enables me to spend time with my family, like, and stuff like that. Really, I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for trading. So
Yeah.
so that's great. I mean, like if anybody that I have, like I've got loads of people, like from physios to builders to, construction workers to people who own businesses, who are swing traders. And when we do like the scanning sessions in the evening, so on a Sunday and on a Thursday, they'll kind of take ideas from that, but they'll also find their own. And then they'll say, like, okay, I've got a really busy 3 or 4 weeks at work. And then they'll have two or three positions running. And yeah, like maybe one will lose or two will lose and one will really, really win or two will really, really win. But like overall, on a long-term basis, the law of large numbers and the law of averages, they'll end up making money over a long period of time. And it's nice to watch that because they don't have to feel so stressed about their trading.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like really brilliant message for for this episode is that you like hearing all these different examples of different students and different coaches, and like you don't have to feel pressured to trade in a particular way or to trade a particular time frame. You can change it to suit like whatever you need.
Yeah, definitely. Now, lastly, the last subject I want to kind of cover on this podcast is like your personality versus the type of trading lifestyle that you choose, because this is the only area where I feel that sometimes there is a bit of a clash. And a lot of people overcome it, obviously, but I think like having a swing trader's or a day trader's personality, but obviously wanting to maybe try and do the other one. Because I think like swing trading can be alluring to a lot of people, and day trading could be alluring to a lot of people. So like, how would what would you say in terms of managing your personality versus the type of trading lifestyle that you pick?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's interesting. I think because this is something that I'm been thinking about. Well, because it's New Year and all that sort of stuff, thinking resolutions. That I obviously with all the like funded account academy and all the day trading stuff we've been doing, that's where I've been sort of focusing most of my time. But
Mm,
when I originally started mentorship with Lee, I was convinced I just wanted to do swing trading.
mhm.
Uh, and then I think as I saw like I think as a lot of people do, like how it's a bit more fast paced doing day trading, and you can make your day's money, like you're saying about Dan, and then you've made that money for that day, and you can leave it. So
Yeah.
then that sort of started to sway me more towards that. But I would really like to spend some time getting a bit more involved in some more swing trading and like looking into all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I how to explain it. So like when the New Year's resolutions thing that we did with Mayan in the last mentorship day. Yeah.
Mm.
When she was talking about, what if I saw her at the end of the year, what would we like to have a conversation about how we've done and all this kind of stuff. And my answer is that I want to try and catch a trend where I can get 12, 14 positions in.
Yeah, yeah,
That was my answer. So like I've done it once or twice. So the S&P 500 bull run, and then the more recent post-COVID Nasdaq bull run, I managed to get some really, really good trades in there. I
yeah.
reckon it would have been about 7, 8 trades or something like that.
Wow.
But if I could fast forward to the end of this year and imagine myself in any type of trend, trying to get like 12, 14 trades to stay in a trend like that, you know that can only be done with this kind of lifestyle, for me. So that's a really, from hearing what you said, it kind of triggered my mind into thinking, like if that is my goal, what are the only ways that I can manage it,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
and that personality versus lifestyle. Obviously my personality is quite calm and relaxed, so I can only do that swing trading, right?
yeah.
So, with you, it's amazing that obviously you're more adaptable. Like you can do two different types of things, but obviously you want to have maybe a bit more of a weighting towards swing trading, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's maybe what I'd like, because now it's very sort of day trading heavy. But it would be nice to sort of bring that balance back again, and yeah, make them a bit more equal. Because obviously, like you say, like the lifestyle of swing trading is so appealing, and
Mm.
so I would like to get more of that back. So if I think, oh, actually, I don't want to day trade today, I can be happy knowing that I can make sort of an equivalent amount over time with some swing trades going on in the background.
Yeah, and then like also being able to take regular money from the trades, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
when I've had a couple of people who like to travel and stuff, and they're swing traders, like really. When it comes to their goals about what they're doing. So there's just one person really particular that comes into mind when I'm talking about this. So he is quite young, 24, 25 years old, and he's traveling and he swing trades so he can travel, and because the time zones aren't going to bother him, right?
Yeah.
So what we were thinking with that is that his travel money, I think he has like, he made money or whatever from there. But what he does is that with his positions is when he's got enough money to pay for his next ticket and accommodation, he liquidates the trade and he pays for it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that was a really interesting one, and again, that's kind of more to do with the goal setting, lifestyle, and personality side, isn't it? It's a bit of a mixture
Yeah,
between all three, because like in his trading account, he had a pretty decent amount of money,
yeah.
and I think it was like, for a retail trader, 25, 30 grand, he had about that much money. But then as soon as every time he'd get to like 4 or 5 grand's worth of profit, he would liquidate it and kind of pay for his next trip.
That's
So
so interesting.
yeah, so even from that respect, it was good to see, really that the trading college stuff kind of enabled him to kind of achieve those goals.
Yeah, yeah,
So that was quite nice, and that is a lifestyle trader, isn't it? Really.
definitely.
So yeah, like it's nice to see, and yeah. So I think knowing your personality, knowing your goals, knowing what your aims and objectives are. Did you ever have to kind of adapt and change that to fit the trading, or because maybe one style of trading didn't suit you more than another one, or did that ever happen?
Yeah, and like we're quite big on trading plans and stuff, aren't we? And
Yeah.
like that, my trading plan has changed so countless number of times and especially like when you're learning, because you're learning a bit about swing trading and a bit about day trading, and then you're wanting to like juggle things, or maybe you've got more work coming up in the next few weeks, so you want to do more swing trading. So yeah, definitely when I was learning things, we're like adapting all the time.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So being flexible with your trading plan to kind of adjust to your life, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 and it's like part of the brilliant side of it is that you can adapt it. So like you shouldn't be worried like if anybody's listening and they've changed a lot, or they're thinking actually I want to try a different style of trading, because that's the whole point. You can change it whenever you want to suit suit the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah, massive point. Don't judge yourself, like don't be too self-critical, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because things happen, things change. I mean, look at you, like, your injury, things changed there. You had to change your life and your trading plan, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can happen anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And that, of course it was very, very similar with me because like I thought I'd be happy sitting at home by myself swing trading. I
Mm.
genuinely thought I would, but obviously I'm not. Like my personality doesn't allow that. I need to interact with people, I think. So yeah, you have to be adaptable for that. But any closing words, Oshin?
No, I think it's just what I said. Like, just you just got to give these things a go, and like you can see from all the examples that we've been talking about how flexible trading can be and how many different styles of lifestyle it can suit. So, just if anybody out there is thinking about whether to give it a go or not, you definitely should.
Yeah, definitely. And, you don't let your personality, vocation, you know, time, don't let anything limit you. This is possible in any way, shape, or form. It's just you have to find that. You have to put in the effort to find out how this is going to suit you. I'm not going to say that that's going to be easy for everyone. Some people are going to find it more than harder than others, and some people are going to find it easier than others. It's just you have to put in the work to give it a chance to see how it can fit around your lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely. All right, thanks, Ocean. Good to chat, and hopefully we'll pick up some more episodes sometime soon.
yeah. That sounds great. Thanks so much, Raj.
Cheers, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. If you'd like any more information, please visit tradingcollege.co.uk. We have lots going on there. We have loads of free events and lots of places for you to look for any information you could possibly need about your trading journey.